Hello everyone, welcome to Steno Aspirants. Get ready for the legal dictation containing 720 words at the speed of 90 words per minute. 3, 2, 1, start. Clause 2 defines the expression very prestigious unit as a new industrial unit established in any Panchayat Samiti of the state during the period of this scheme in which investment in fixed capital is rupees 100 crore or more. However, the progressive investment of the amount of project cost as appraised by the financial institutions shall be considered as investment made by a new unit, and as soon as such investment reaches or crosses the point of rupees 100 crores during the operative period of the scheme, the unit shall acquire the status of a very prestigious unit for the purpose of claiming enhanced proportionate benefits under this scheme. The very prestigious unit means a new industrial unit established in any Panchayat Samiti in the state during the operative period of the scheme, and the other important requirement is the investment in such industrial unit must be rupees 100 crores or more. The second limb of the definition clause provides for a new industrial unit to acquire the status of very prestigious unit. The project cost as appraised by the financial institution shall be considered as investment made by a new unit. The progressive investment of the amount of project cost as soon as it reaches or crosses the point of rupees 100 crores during the operation of the scheme, the industrial unit shall acquire the status of a very prestigious unit in order to claim enhanced proportionate benefits under the scheme. Clause 2 provides for constitution of screening committee for the purpose of consideration and to grant eligibility certificate under the new incentive scheme both for small and medium and also large scale industrial units to avail benefit under the new incentive scheme. The note appended to this subclause speaks of small scale units, medium scale units, and large scale units. Small scale units means a unit of which investment in plant and machinery does not exceed rupees 60 lakhs. A medium scale unit means a unit of which the project cost does not exceed rupees 5 crores, and large scale unit means a unit of which the project cost exceeds rupees 5 crores. Clause 3 of the notification speaks of applicability of the scheme. By this clause, the state government has made the scheme applicable to 1. New industrial units, 2. Industrial units going in for expansion or diversification, and 3. Sick units. Clause 4 provides for exemption from payment of sales tax. As we have observed earlier, Annexure C has 5 columns The second column speaks of type of units. The third column speaks of the extent of percentage of exempting from tax. The fourth column provides for the maximum exemption in terms of percentage of FCI, and the fifth and the last column provides the maximum time limit for availing exemption from tax. Prior to issuance of notification, Annexure C was primarily confined to new units. After the introduction of notification, the exclusion is made to the expression new units by specifically including certain type of industrial units by inserting items 1A to 1F. Item 1E specifically talks of new cement units except in tribal subplan area. The extent of percentage of exemption from tax under item 1E depends on the type of unit or the industry. If it is a small scale unit, the extent of exemption is 75%. If it is a medium scale, the extent of exemption is 50%. And if it is large scale unit, the extent of percentage of exemption from tax is 25%. The maximum time limit for availing exemption from tax is restricted to 7 years. Item 4 speaks of new units producing pollution control equipments, pioneering units, and prestigious units. The extent of the percentage of exemption from tax is 75% of total liability, and the maximum time limit for availing exemption from tax is 9 years from the date of commercial production. Item 5 relates to new very prestigious units other than cement units except in tribal subplan area, and the total percentage of exemption from tax is 90% of total tax liability, and the maximum time limit for availing exemption from tax is 11 years. Reverting to state the facts, the respondents' assessee had applied to the state level screening committee for claiming benefit of exemption at 75% under the scheme. Stop. Get ready for general matters. 3, 2, 1, start. Mr. Deputy Chairman, after all labor legislations in all countries have to be gradually evolved, and what is good in one country cannot be wholesale copied in another country, because it is to have reference to the economic conditions and also to the employment or unemployment factor in that country. Countries gradually develop industries and other social conditions, but short of a revolution, it is not possible to put into practice all the things of which we approve in principle. We have come to a very much higher stage as far as the interests of the workers are concerned. During the last 15 years, and although we would like to see that even in the agricultural field minimum wages are guaranteed, such states which tried to bring in minimum wages legislation as long ago as about 6 years back found it impossible to put it into practice as has been already preferred to by another honorable member due to the reasons of expense of implementation and the existing conditions. Supposing I would ask the members on the other side, we were to make rules about minimum wages with regard to domestic servants, what would happen? All that would happen is that people would stop engaging servants because they are unable to pay them, and the result would be that there would be more unemployment. I need not develop this point further because it is for this reason that it has been found difficult to apply the minimum wages in the case of agricultural laborers. Sir, I know for a fact that in some places where the employees thought that minimum wages would be enforced in regard to agricultural labor, they stopped cultivating certain portions of the land, and the result was that the land remained fallow. So we have to take the overall position, the balanced picture into consideration, and though always aiming, as the government is certainly aiming at bettering the conditions of the unemployed and bringing about the socialist pattern in as rapid a manner as possible, we have to see that the very objectives for which we stand are not defeated. Sir, I would like to say another word with regard to the remarks made about bringing in an ordinance with reference to the recent strike. Sir, only when people are saddled with some responsibilities, they have to realize that they have to take certain steps. I am sure, sir, even the people on the opposition side who are today in power in Kerala would be able to say what success they got with their experimenting, because without making the state banking, without borrowing, we have to see that our purse is long enough to meet the charges on it. For that very reason, I would ask what they would have done if at the 11th hour there is a sudden demand on the exchequer, a demand such that it would not be able to bear without unfairness to the other services. I would also ask Sir a question which I have not been able to ask of the many people who should perhaps be held responsible for replying to the question, and that is that in deciding on a certain minimum wage, we have to see that in giving more to one sector of industry, we do not do injustice to the other sector. I know, sir, that in deciding on minimum wages, we have to take so many factors into consideration. Now, in the coal industry, first they were given a wage of rupees 69, and the unions there were not fully satisfied, and they had demanded a wage of rupees 132, having gone deep into the pros and cons of the matter, they were ultimately on appeal given only rupees 80, although it was felt that for a minimum standard of living, particularly in that hazardous industry, rupees 132 for a worker with a wife and two children were just enough to give a standard of what we may call a cultural life. But, sir, one would ask, what do the people in other places get? I am leaving aside the coal industry because mining on the whole is a very hazardous industry. Let us take the other concerns like the railways stop over.